Welcome back. A new study has revealed the depth of the mental health crisis affecting Australian farmers. The National Farmers Federation has joined Norco in releasing the National Farmer Wellbeing Report, and it shows almost a third of Australian farmers have attempted suicide and almost half have considered self-harm or suicide. Joining us live now is Norco CEO Michael Hampson. Michael, really appreciate your time. Thank you. I think that's worth repeating. Nearly half of those surveyed said they'd considered self-harm or suicide. I mean, that's just devastating.
Absolutely. And then you add to that over 30% actually went and tried to do something about it, i.e. went to take steps to go down that pathway is incredibly confronting. And it's a wake-up call for us all that the impact of successive significant natural disasters and harsh climatic conditions on our farmers over the last 5 years has really taken a toll on a group of people which I've certainly seen as being the most resilient people that I've ever met in my life. And the other thing too, actually, is that one of the key statistics in that also says that 76% of farmers don't feel like they're valued by the public anymore. And when you don't feel valued, even small things will become issues. And we've got to show our farmers that we do absolutely value them. Be very thankful for the work that they do feeding our country and feeding other countries as well. They do an amazing job exporting a lot of products and just provide them support. And first, that one thing that everyone can do is just buy their products. Buy Australian farmers' products, which is important, not the imported ones. Show farmers in our country that we really value what they do, and we want them to continue doing it.
So, Michael, is this getting a lot worse in recent years, do you think, or could this be a long-standing issue that people are now only perhaps a bit more willing to acknowledge, or do you really think it is just those driving forces you mentioned a bit earlier in terms of recent droughts and conditions that have been so difficult?
Look, there's no two ways about it. Farming is tough and it's not for everyone. That is for sure. I've got a lot of time for our farmers, and I think they do an amazing job, and they are a very resilient group of people. But the last 5 years have been very bad when we think about it. We've had 2.5 to 3 years of the most chronic drought that we've ever had across the eastern seaboard and indeed in some parts of WA. After that, we had the worst bushfires that we've had on memory. And then we've run straight into, obviously, COVID, which we all experienced. But then the floods that we've received, particularly down the eastern seaboard and still experiencing in the northern parts of the country at the moment, where there's the farmers and the regional communities where the significant brunt of those things. And when we add all those up over the last 5 years, I'm sure it's got worse. It certainly needs to get better, and we hope that this report is a line in the sand. I know as an organisation, Norco, which is 100% farmer-owned, we will be doing what we can in terms of putting more farmer-to-farmer counsellors out there to help our farmer members and also training a number of other people inside our business to help and identify mental health issues as we move forward. And I would certainly think that there's other organisations that will most likely do the same also. And I think if all of us take on a little job here and do something different, there should be ample opportunities for us all to be able to show farmers that they're valued, and to obviously get the support to the farmers when they absolutely need it.
Okay, so your dairy cooperative, Norco, you just ran us through some of the things that you're trying to do to help. How do you compare the role of businesses in this compared to what we need to see government stepping in to do? Is there something in particular you think could make a real difference at that federal level?
Oh, look, I think there's a role to play here for everyone, and it's not one person that's going to solve it. And I'd say that we would, as an 100% farmer-owned business, we actually want to be at the forefront and help our farmers because we deeply, deeply care about them. From a federal government and indeed a state government perspective, getting the support packages out there to farmers when these natural disasters occur. We've certainly seen the first hand up here in Lismore where we had significant floods. There's been processes of how those things have been rolled out, and I believe that certainly the learnings from that have meant that the government is certainly much more aware of these things moving forward. We've got really good programs to get out there, but we need to make sure that they're out there into the future when we have these issues. The mental health support for farmers, having farmer-to-farmer counselling is an incredible help. We have Ross Blanche, who's one of our farmers who works with Lifeline and is a farmer-to-farmer counsellor. He's looked after between 150 and 200 farmers that are regularly in contact with him, and he has saved lives. And that is the key thing that we want to do here, is to save lives. So having more of those farmers like Ross Blanche that are able to do that farmer-to-farmer counselling, is something that absolutely will be a big part of fixing the current issue. And then if we can deal with the whole making sure our farmers feel valued over a longer term, let's hope that we don't get ourselves into this particular situation. And indeed, the government support when the natural disasters occur, getting that on the ground fast is obviously an incredibly important thing to do also.
Michael Hampson, we really appreciate you taking the time to talk us through those results. They are pretty shocking, and you're right. I mean, something here needs to change. Really appreciate your insights. Thank you.